I, 26M, recently went to a family gathering for my dad's 49th birthday. But before I get into that, you need to know the backstory with me and my brother, 23M. This event happened around 3 years ago. Back then, I was dating this girl that I will call C, 25F. C and I were high school sweethearts. She was my everything at the time and I thought I was hers. It was around Thanksgiving time when I found out. I was shopping for desserts for Thanksgiving after staying at a friend's house since I was helping them move. I came home and couldn't find C or her stuff. I tried calling her but it went straight to voicemail. I tried her location but it looked like she turned it off. I checked my front door cam and I saw my brother helping her move her things into his car and leaving with her. I then tried to call my brother but he wouldn't answer either. At this point I started to freak out and assume the worst. But then I thought my brother would never do that to me. He was honestly like my best friend when we were kids, and even though we drifted apart kind of when I went to college, I still considered us best friends since we still talk and go out from time to time. I then called my dad and had my dad tell my mom to call my brother and to put it on speaker mode. My brother answered, and when my mom asked him where C was, he said, "She's living with me now, she broke up with OP." I felt numb and those words. I thought this was some type of sick joke, so I checked his Facebook and Instagram and saw them holding each other and kissing and I broke down. Why was C doing this to me was going through my head all night. But then I was angry. How could my own brother, my best friend, do this to me? I drove up to his house and banged on his, yelling at him to open up. But C was the one that opened the door. I wish I could say that I held it together, but I turned into a crying mess once I saw her. Then my brother came from his kitchen and told C to go upstairs. That's when he told me that they were having an affair ever since my second year of college and apologized to me for it. But then C just came back from the stairs and said that the whole reason why she left me the way she did was because she was sick of pretending to love me. I looked at her and realized that that wasn't the person I fell in love with. That was someone else. I then wondered if this was still worth it. I then realized that it wasn't and walked out. I try to not be a problematic person and make a scene when I know what I do won't change the outcome of the situation. Don't get me wrong, I was beyond mad at her and my brother, and so cut them out of my life on the spot. Now back to the family gathering. I live in California now and is still single. The family gathering was all right until my brother and his wife walked in with a stroller. Apparently they got married and got busy. I really don't care anymore. I've been through enough therapy to know that I'm not the problem, she is. My brother was trying to strike up a conversation with me but I ignored him, went back to the conversation I was having with one of my aunts. After a couple of hours I forgot they were even there. But when I was heading to the basement to get some more ice cream, my brother followed me and nearly gave me a heart attack. He then awkwardly tried to apologize for what he did to me those 3 years ago and I walked past him. He didn't approach me again that night, but the next day I had gotten multiple texts from my mom telling me to just forgive my brother already. My mom and dad are heavy on the religious side and had already forgave my brother. But I can't. He's the entire reason why I have trust issues now. He knew how much she meant to me and still did what he did and expected me to just be okay with it. But I don't think I'll forgive him ever in life. Update. First off, before I start with the update, I just want to thank the people who responded to my post. Though some of you were very intent with me getting back at my brother with violence and to cut him off, I know your hearts were in the right place. But I do want to clear some stuff up. I wasn't trying to paint my parents as the bad guy in my last post. They actually forgave him a couple years before they even announced C was pregnant. I also believe that nothing would have came from me beating my brother into a pulp besides me probably going to jail and causing rifts in the family. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the update. I sat my mom and dad down with my brother in my parents' living room and finally told all of them how I felt. I told them that what my brother did was unforgivable. Not the type of unforgivable that means I'll hate him for the rest of my life, but the type of unforgivable that means that I want utterly nothing to do with him because I don't want a relationship with someone who could sleep with a friend's girlfriend behind his back, much less his brother. That's not the type of person I want to be around. My brother tried to make a rebuttal by saying that he changed and would never do it again. He said it like he didn't marry and have the child of the girl I told him I wanted to marry. I then asked my parents how they were able to forgive him and they said that they were really disappointed in him for a while, but when he got saved and started preaching they forgave him since he turned a new leaf. I then asked would they still forgive him if they were in the same position as me, and they said that they would have forgiven him eventually, which I don't believe at all. Anyway, we just went back and forth for a while until my brother said that I shouldn't be holding grudges. I then told him that he shouldn't be sleeping with other people's girlfriends. He then looked at the ground and started to cry. My mom said that what I said is too harsh since he had already repented for his sins. I then gave them the ultimatum most of you told me to do. That they could either accept the fact I want nothing to do with him and move on, or I would cut them off along with him and his family. My dad then said that I would die with regret if I don't forgive my brother. I then asked if that was their final answer and my mom said fine. She said they will come to terms with me not wanting to be in my brother's life. I then asked my dad if that was how he felt too and he said yeah. I then thanked them for their time, looked at my brother and told him that no matter what he does, there is nothing that he could get me to spend time with him and told him to have a good life. I then walked out and drove to get some in and out and went to bed. That whole conversation was really mentally and physically draining, so I basically passed out a couple seconds after hitting my bed. The next day, today, I decided to download some dating apps to try dating again to really move on from this whole situation. Story 2. Hey y'all, so I'm sorry this is so long. But first off, these past 2 weeks have been hell for me until today. I found out on Tuesday that my BF for over a year had been cheating on me damn near the whole relationship with 4 to 5 different girls and had got some random girl pregnant that he met on Facebook. He said he cheated on me after Christmas, yet I found out from his stepmom and stepbrother that he had been cheating for months with different girls. We were planning our life together. Talking about kids, marriage, our goals, buying a house, etc. I never saw this coming. I trusted him. I loved him. My family loved him. I was so excited for our future. He never once made me think he was cheating. He was very attentive, loving, and caring up until about a month ago when I noticed we were having sex less. He barely complimented me, didn't want to kiss me, getting irritated with me over little things, etc. We had a talk 2 weeks ago and I brought up how he had been acting. I asked him if he was still attracted to me, if he wanted to be single, was he stressed out. I told him he could be single if he wanted to, but to just be honest with me. He told me that he wanted to be with me but just felt like he wasn't where he should be in life and felt like we lost our spark. Me being the caring and loving GF that I was, I asked him what he needed from me. I suggested we go into relationship counseling. I was always checking in on him on how he felt and he always told me we were good. This break thing that he suggested caught me by surprise. We were both crying a river of tears. Then he told me he couldn't stand seeing me so upset and left. I found out he left me crying in my apartment to hang out with another girl that same night. Fast forward to Thursday night, I showed up at his house with my best friend to cuss him out. He had blocked me from texting or calling him and he never thought I would show up at his house LMAO. His stepmom and stepbrother kept tabs on him and let me know when he'd be home. I contemplated for 2 days about not doing it, trying to be the bigger person etc., but I felt so disrespected. He had gave me an STI back in September and we both didn't know where it came from. Now I know I got it from him cheating on me. I showed up at his house and barged open his door. The look on his face was as if he saw a ghost. He kept asking what I was doing there. I cussed him out and he couldn't say anything. He looked as if he was drunk and high and was reacting slow. He tried to put his hands on me but my best friend jumped in. It felt so good to get my emotions out. His family was shocked and couldn't say anything because they had never seen me get like that. He continued to lie to me and said there were no other girls. I followed him outside still cussing him out and he tried to get in his car. I had my hand on the car window and he tried to close the door with my hand still there. I shoved the door back and he tried to slam it when the door panel popped out and fell on the ground. He then threatened to call the cops and I told him to call them so I can tell them about how he knowingly gave me an STI. He never called them LMAO. I'm now sitting in my car reflecting and I realized that he was jealous of me. He always told me how he wanted to be the dominant one and the provider in our relationship. I was 22 when we met, 23 now, and I have my own apartment, 2 cars, great credit, lots of friends, decent job, side hustles, nice car, I'm extroverted, loving family, self-control, and I never asked him for anything but his love, time, and attention. I also took care of him and would spoil him by paying for haircuts, putting gas in his car sometimes while still paying my own bills. He, however, grew up on survival, almost got kicked out the military twice due to getting a DUI, made way more money than me but had terrible spending habits, is in debt, has a nice car that he can barely afford, terrible credit, can't stop drinking and smoking weed, terrible family unit, lives with his stepmom and dad, who is a bum, and is overall a self-destructor. What attracted him to me? He was honest in the beginning about his faults and told me how he wanted to change and be better. I was attracted to his potential and loved how he acknowledged his problems and tried to work on them. In the end, he turned out to revert back to his destructive ways. I am everything he wanted to be, and he knew he wasn't good enough for me. I remember he used to ask me all the time why I was even with him. Because of that, his resentment for me grew over time, and he felt like he had to hurt and humble me by cheating. I will admit he did succeed in doing that, but I realize he is empty inside. He didn't grow up surrounded by love, so how I could expect him to know how to give it and more or less accept it? He didn't even love himself, so how could he love me? Realizing this has helped heal me in a way. For anyone that has been cheated on, please remember that it is not about you. You can do everything right, and guess what, it will never been enough for the wrong person. You will love again. You will meet someone who is praying to run into someone like you. I know it's hard, but allow yourself to feel every emotion and try to take it day by day. Thanks for letting me vent. Story 3. I overheard my wife talking about her cheating experience with my older brother while she was talking to her therapist. She shared in detail how they both passionately kissed and he sexually groped and fondled with her breasts, ass, over the clothes while we were visiting my parents' house in the storeroom. I don't know if they slept together. From the conversation, I only heard that they both kissed. This happened last year when she was 4 months pregnant. I am in deep shock and I am shaking right now as I write this. I don't know what to do or what to say, or if I should confront her or him. My wife is a good mother to 3 beautiful young children, 6 years old, 2 years old, and a 4-month-old. She kept saying that she is trying to call him and get a hold of him, but he has ghosted her since. Now she wants to confront him for using her and then ghosting her. Update. We spoke today because she can see how I am extremely uncomfortable and sad. She asked me if I heard anything while she was talking to her therapist. I said no, I didn't hear anything. I told her, why are you so worried about me hearing your conversation? She said something along the lines of, there are stuff in the past and I want to get over it. Our discussion continued as she pressed me to talk. She said that she doesn't like to see me sad or upset. I told her that you are a liar. You say something and do the opposite. Quick story short, I told her, you tell me, you are hiding stuff. Be honest and stop lying to me. She said I have done mistakes and have hurt myself in the past. I regret all the mistakes I did. I told her, you didn't just hurt yourself, you hurt me, and then she said, our kids too. I said, of course. I told her I cannot go on life with you living a lie. You hurt me and gave me hard time just enough so that I can divorce you. Just say that you don't want this life and we can go on our separate ways. She said, no, this is the life I want, but I didn't know, I was lost. I am still lost, but not as lost as before. I am in a clearer picture now. She tried to hug me and kiss me, but I wasn't interested. I haven't told her that I know about her doing her thing, but if she knows I know, then we are definitely done. Story 4. Hi all, we've been dating for just under 3 years. We started dating during COVID and have had a good relationship with some ups and downs. Due to the nature of her work, she travels 2 to 3 times per year around the country. I've never had reason to believe that she would cheat on me previously. However, this trip 2 large companies merged, so they all went on a trip to get to know each other. She left me on Thursday with our 2 cats. This morning I was borrowing her laptop as mine died when a text came through from someone I didn't recognize. I clicked on the text and saw their conversation. To summarize, for context, she shared a room with Anna, GF, current GF Harry, guy she cheated with, talking about being on the plane. Anna said there was lots of snoring, so I'm sure you had a good sleep. Harry, shit, yeah, I sometimes snore if I'm really tired. I won't tell anyone. GF, yeah, obviously. Harry, keep this between us please. GF, my BF would kill me. Nothing happened. But I'll see you when I visit. His state, she's away for another 2 nights. Any advice on what I should do? Do I confront her now or wait till she's home? I never thought she'd cheat on me, but guess I was wrong. LMAO. Edit, to clarify. GF is not on the plane, she's staying 2 extra nights. Anna and GF were sharing a room with separate beds. Anna said she heard snoring to GF, Harry says he snores when he's tired. Edit again, they're not on the plane. This is in the hotel room she's sharing with Anna. The messages are in the morning, prior to the events of the night. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corner Stories signing off.